Hello everyone, welcome to Big Talk, live from the nation's capital. My name is Adikat Michael. A pleasure to have you join us tonight as we continue to look at the recent outcry of many Nigerians in reacting to the recent hike in the price of petrol, which Nigerians have continued to knock on the government. And the recent one is coming from the former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, who has criticized President Bola Tinubu's handling of the fuel subsidy crisis, which he has referred to the president as stipend in a tweet just today. Atiku has attributed the current economic challenges facing Nigeria to what he described as a haphazard and a disingenuous approach of Tinubu administration to the fuel subsidy management. In a statement, Atiku expressed concern about the escalating inflation rates, stating that it is severely impacting the lives of Nigerians. He lamented that despite the growing hardship, it looks that the president appears unfazed by the plight of the citizens. This approach and the current administration to fuel subsidy management has been the reason we are in this current economic crisis, said Atiku Abubakar. Tonight we'll try to unravel all of this concern as things stand now, if there are a way out of these situations and the current situation in the country and how the president is managing the aftermath of fuel subsidy, the floating of Naira at the same time, and the outcry of Nigerians in respect to the generality of the state of the nation. And this is our focus tonight on the program, Big Talk. And my guys tonight is Babatunde Kayode. He's an elder statement. He joins us live here on the studio to give us a perspective to these issues and how we can advance moving ahead. Thanks so much for joining us on the program tonight.
Thank you very much.
Yes, a whole lot of concern. The recent one is about the recent increase of the price. We're just trying to manage the 895 Naira, and it looks that NNPC has knocked again. And the question Nigerians are asking, if we have the president as supposedly Minister of Petroleum, it looks that the president is silent. He does not understand the plight of Nigerians. How do you view all of this concern? One from the NNPC end, and how the president seems to picture the reality on ground.
Thank you very much for inviting me for this program. I think from the inception of the government, the president did say that fuel subsidy is gone. And we all agree that, yes, there's need for the removal of fuel subsidy.
Absolutely.
So if the fuel subsidy has been removed, it means there's total deregulation. And what it means is the markets fix the price of the pump price. And that is exactly what we're experiencing now. Because now, yesterday, it was 1,000, so it was 995 in some places, 960 in some places, but just overnight it became 1,030. I bought it to 1,050 this morning.
That's from NNPC?
Not NNPC.
Not NNPC?
Rano station.
Other station?
Yes, Rano filling station, yes. So you expect the price to fluctuate according to the market price.
We are much concerned about the fact that the government has said there will be a sort of things to cushion the effect of the hardship. And the many questions many Nigerians are probably having is that, yes, we agree that there is evil in subsidy, and there was a problem with generality of the subsidy. The aftermath, how government is managing the aftermath of that, it looks that it's not working. Those are palliative. They have given out, funds, loans, fertilizers, grains to farmers, and all of those things in a way of trying to get things done. Do you feel that there are factors that are hindering some of these implementation of these policies, or does it look that we should go back to our old days where we were, knowing to the fact that it is what controls our economy? Fuel is what really controls our economy.
Yes, thank you very much. I think there is high level of corruption in this country. Everything, there's corruption. So even the palliative is being released by the government. The president released palliative, they give loans and everything. You heard a story of where rice was kept in the warehouse. These are commodities, these are palliatives that are supposed to be distributed to the pulpit, to the public as a means of cushioning the effect of the fuel subsidy, removal of fuel subsidy. But what do the government in some states? They hoard these commodities to the extent that the public had to, invade the warehouses and start sharing it to themselves.
Does it mean that maybe the government was sharing to the wrong hands or something?
These palliatives were supposed to be, they are meant to be distributed. Why keeping it? Why keeping it? Give the people to cushion the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy. So there's so much that has been done, but I want to believe that the governments, maybe at state level, even at local government level, are they sincere with these palliatives? Are they sharing it? Are they supposed to be shared? So I think we have a serious problem at hand in this country, which has to do with corruption. So I believe the government is doing enough, and I believe with time, the effects will be relieved.
We really want it, because when you look at the first 10 days of August, you know, many young persons went on the street to protest. And our those will tell you that it was justifiable because they were protesting on hunger, but government on the other hand were looking at it as if some person sponsored or hijacked the protest in a way of distracting the government of the day. Would you justify that move by the young person, and knowing that hunger, when they said hunger protest, it looks that every Nigerian today will tell you that hunger is real. We are trying to, the reason I'm asking that is because if the way we had, the reality of having to buy fuel at a 1,030 naira, in most cases at other stations at 1,100, it means that we are pushing more hardship to Nigerians. The reality is that purchasing power of Nigerians have been defeated. How do we manage this so as not to escalate to the point of having another protest?
Well, protest is our rights as citizens of this country. So there's nothing wrong with protest. But what comes out of the protest is what matters. We are all living witnesses to the outcome of the last protest between 1st and 10th of August. It's not palatable. It's not something that we pray for even in this country again. So protest has its own demerits, and it might not actually bring the change or the effects that you expect. So sometimes I will appeal that let's just be patient and ensure that, well, with time, things will fall in place.
It's something that will get better with time, because
I have that.
We
have that assurance.
Nigerians are counting this.
Yes,
because since you were born, they will tell you Nigeria will get better, but it looks that every day, everything for over 64 years,
it's
the country has not gotten to the point.
It's still the same story everywhere. For 30 years ago, it's still the same. People queue for fuel. In the 80s, in the 70s, people queue for fuel. So the problem has always been there.
So people have been queuing for fuel at that time?
For a long time, yes.
So is that not an implication that things will not get better? Probably it will get higher every day.
Nigerians have a way of getting over challenges. So I believe this one will surmount it.
From the reality, what the Nigerians are asking, because some of them do not really understand that the real sense of buying fuel now is that government are not subsidizing.
Yes.
But we are afraid. It seems there's still subsidy. Well, have you heard something like that?
No. I don't think. In fact, I read it today that the federal government said the change is not from them. So it's on the market. You buy, you sell. You buy what you buy is what you sell. You can imagine the dollars now also, the exchange rate.
But if we have crude oil, do we have to suffer all of this?
Not necessarily.
Because they will tell you that
if our refineries are working perfectly, I think the problem will not be there. So I think what I would believe the government should intensify in doing is to ensure that our refineries are in order. So we don't need to import. What is giving us this problem is because of the importation. We are importing. And you can't expect a businessman to invest his money and not to at least recover his money back, not even talk of profit. So that is the challenge. And I think as soon as the refineries are working, everything will normalize and the price of crude will come, of the fuel will come down.
When Dangote came, many people were jubilating that we now have our own, even if it's not government-owned refinery, that we have a local refinery in the country. We're not going to be buying with dollars again. We'll have to buy it at naira, and the distances of importing, have been breached. So it means that if we have Dangote refinery to buy from, automatically, if we're buying fuel at that 600 naira at that time, before Dangote came, there would have been a difference or a slash of the price. That is the reality of many Nigerians. Do you see that something has gone wrong suddenly within Nigeria, NNPC, and Dangote Refinery?
No, nothing. Dangote is a businessman. You expect him to buy and to sell. So one should not expect that because Dangote is into petroleum business, the price of petrol will come. There's also buying. Whether he buys in Naira or you buy in dollars, he's buying. He has to make profit. So before anything will come down, the price will come down, let all our refineries be okay. When they are producing maximally, optimally, I think there will be a sign of relief to the price of petroleum or fuel in fuel stations.
How about those that are perceiving that there is a corruption within the NNPC sector, that rather Mr. President should face the corruption in that sector and probably have a way of not really living up the sector to be open, so as Nigerians not to really be feeling the effect of it?
I think I once heard the emir of Kano, Lament Sanusi.
Yes.
Each time he speaks on petroleum, he said all over the world, NNPC is the most opaque company, oil company. So why? Because of he must have seen something. So I think there is need for the NNPC to be sanitized, and so that they can get us what we expect from them. So I believe in every sector of this nation there is high level of corruption. So I'm not in doubt. Because now we don't know how much crude we produce every day. Nobody can give you. Ask. Even NNPC cannot give you. So is that not corruption? So I believe by the time NNPC is sanitized, I believe things will be better.
Do you feel there is an immediate solution to the hunger issue that we are facing today? Because if the reality is the fact that if we can't get fuel at lower price,
yes,
we have to keep on buying at this price. And those I'll tell you, minimum wage is even the 70,000 naira is still having some care leg. It has not been fully implemented. And even how many people are working to really get the minimum wage. Now you now get to the fact that this is affecting, market. When you go to the market, prices of rice, tomatoes, peppers,
is affected.
And it has been affected.
Yes.
How do we manage the hunger concern right now facing Nigerians?
Honestly, the hunger issue is a very big problem. It's a very big problem. I heard somebody was telling me, or whether it was on social media, that some individuals are beginning to eat dusa now.
What's dusa?
Dusa, the waste product of maize meal from the milling industry. By the time they grind the maize, and the shaft is removed, they are beginning to eat shafts now of maize. It's terrible. In homes now, you can't eat as you expect. If you have a large family, it's a big problem. How much is a bag of rice? How much is a bag of semo? How much? Even gari, even beans, most foodstuffs are expensive now. They are not at the reach of every common man. Even the rich are also complaining. I read it that the former Minister of Transport,
former governor of Rivers State.
Yes,
he said he can no longer buy diesel.
So if people of that status are complaining, what do you say of the common man on the streets? So it's terribly bad, and I pray that I wish that something urgent will be done.
Do you feel the effort is not enough? We've seen some level of congruence to farmers. And some of our farmers are not really going back to farm.
Yes, insecurity.
They are faced with insecurity,
yes, insecurity,
which many people have felt that that's the area that probably government should pay attention to.
Yes. Majorly in the northern part of Nigeria, they're into agriculture, large farm. There are a lot of large farms along Futua, Katsina, but they can no longer. That is where the banditry is happening. So how would they go to farms? They can't. They can't farm. So how do they produce for the need of the country? So there's a big challenge of insecurity. The effect of insecurity has actually also contributed to the hunger. And I know that the military are trying their best, but I know that very soon we'll get off the insecurity challenges in this country.
All right, let's get to, because we are trying to see how we can go out of this situation. When the president will tell you that all hands must be on deck, it therefore means that all stakeholders and every Nigerian should be involved in a bid in a fight against hunger. And how we can come out of this situation, because the structure of Nigeria as it is today is that we have the local government, we have the state, and we have the federal government. Our attention is on the federal government because they took the top decision. They are the ones that removed subsidy. They are the ones that floated the naira. But if we have the savings from subsidy, if we have what government is holding back as our own savings that we've gotten from the subsidy, where is it going to? A concern to state government. There are those that are probably having very mixed feelings that state government are not doing a whole lot enough to have the presidency.
They are not doing anything at all. I subscribe to that.
Does it mean that their allocations have increased?
What are they doing? They have more allocations. What are the local governments doing? They have more allocations now. What are they doing to provide palliatives, to relieve, to do something about the hunger? They're not doing anything. Everybody depends on the federal government, and there's a limit to how the federal government can go. They try on their own. What are the state governors? What are they doing? What are the local governments? What are they doing? They have more funds now. I've never heard of any local government giving palliatives. Or most of them depend on what comes from the federal government. They share for people also. What are they doing with the resources they have now? And nobody's saying anything. Everybody is challenging the president, challenging the federal government. So that is the question. I think attention should be focused more on what the governments are doing, what the local governments are also doing, because they are the closest to the people.
If we have some of the state government probably not doing their work, who is to be blamed? Because we will have institutions of government that ought to probably be supervising, monitoring the implementations and all of this, because most oftentimes we only have EFCC going to arrest governor at the end of the administrations and all of these money laundering allegations and all of that. We have to have the immediate concern on how we can fix, we can help the situation right now, because if the people and hunger is still what is on the voices and the lips of many Nigerians, we can't even talk of the next election if the politicians are so much interested about the next election. Fast remedies on how we can get the situation out now is a major concern.
Yes.
How can we begin, how can the state government begin to be engaged in all of this? We've seen their silence, even when they have received more allocation, just as you've confirmed.
Yes.
What can be done?
I think there should be a kind of a mechanism put in place to monitor what's the activities of every state. Probably, the state governors are chief executive on their own. They are elected, and there is very little the president can put pressure. Yes. So I think they have their own governments on their own. They are government on their own, and probably I think there's need for the central government to have a monitoring mechanism to see what are the state governors, what are they doing, what are the local governments, what are they doing. I think with all these efforts together, it will make a lot of effects on the hunger situation in the country. That's just my own view.
Do you feel that the system of government that we have can be able to enhance this development? Because there are those that are probably pushing for other systems of government, how the development can be tracked down to their regions, instead of having to be operating under the covers of state government, which, if we look at years after democracy or years after practicing these, we can't really see much being done.
I think whether you have region, I think it's going to be the same thing. We are all the same Nigerians. It's just by semantics. It's the same Nigerians that will be in the region. Even now we have zones. We have southwest, we have northwest, you have north central, it's still compartmentalized, and the effects will still be the same thing. So I don't see.
What is the problem? People so much interested about investing funds instead of delivering what they ought to.
That is corruption. Everything boils down on corruption. There is high level of corruption in every sector. People want to grab, not even minding to deliver dividend of democracy. Like I said earlier, I was asking, what are the governors? What are they doing? These are people that they voted for them. But what are they doing to relieve them of this hunger? They're not doing anything. So I think there's a big challenge. And I think until we get it right, there will still be this problem. So the governors should do the right thing. The local government should also complement the efforts of the governors, and the governors should complement the effort of the federal government. Then I think things will be better. But in this particular case, it's only the federal government that is doing much, because the whole noise is towards the federal government. Nobody is saying anything. Have you ever seen protests in states? Have you ever seen?
Do you feel that the House of Assembly are doing enough? Because this is the arm of government in the state that was supposed to be, checkmating the
state House of Assembly. They were all unpicked by the governor, so they are in the same camp. They are working together. Don't you see what happened in the local? So
there's no checks and balances.
Would there be? They are the same thing. Don't you see what happened in the local few elections that took place in local government? It's the same system. It's the same thing that will continue to happen, except there is a mechanism that is put in place to properly checkmate and monitor how these funds are being utilized, especially when it comes to palliative. If nothing is done, it's with the same story.
A situation where this government will tell you, we are trying to correct the past mistakes. We inherited a bad economy. As a matter of fact, what we are trying to do is that we shouldn't continue the way other administrations were running, because Nigeria probably cannot survive that in time to come. That's the argument that this government are having. Do you have the justification to that actions? Because partly removing subsidy, we've all understand that many governments have been living on the subsidy regime. Nigeria has never had issue. They were not years they were criticizing about prices of fuel and all of that. Yeah. But skyrocketing from 180 naira within a matter of a year to 1,000 naira is what no mathematics can really explain that. Do you feel you should justify that? The past and those who were managing our affairs of this country did not really do well.
Government is continuing. Those complaining that this is the station, they saw it before they came into government. And they actually know that they have solutions to the problem before they came in. So I don't think it's any talk saying that these things have been on, the challenge has been there. You know before you came in, and you believe and you told us you have solutions to these challenges. So there's no point passing the buck to the past government. You should sit down and get how to solve the problem. So that is what Nigerians are after. Not saying whether it is
trying to push blame.
Don't push blame to anybody. Face the challenge and provide solutions. That is what we want to see. I want to see change, not complaints again.
Do you feel the people that are working with the president have the capacity to deliver? Because there are those that are having a concern that for over a year they have been in office. August, that just marked them 1 year. Nothing has really changed. Under the covers, they had gathered economics, they had gathered technocrats, they had gathered, experienced hands to do the job. But nothing has really seems to change.
How many of the ministers do you see performing? How many? There are just very few, out of over 40-something. Only few of them.
Should we justify that number, sir? Over 40 ministers.
In as much as the government wants to cut down the cost of governance, I think it should be slashed. We shouldn't have up to that. Especially with the prevailing economic situation now. We shouldn't have up to 40.
And the ones we have,
the large number we have now, what are they doing? Some have not done anything. Some have not heard anything. They have not done anything to better the lives of the various ministries, to improve on what they met on ground. But yet they are being paid salaries and their allowances and a lot of money. Every year they make budgets. What is the budget being used for? So I think they are not doing enough. Some of them are working, but majority are not doing anything, to my own understanding.
So the plan to reshuffle, you support that plan?
Definitely.
For reshuffling of the cabinet?
Yes, it's necessary.
And those that are not doing their job should be dropped?
Yeah, exactly. Let the president get capable hands that can move things in the government.
In a way, do you feel that they have a direction? Because when you look at the policies of government now, a case where we are having, doing this one and doing this other one at the same time. And Nigerians are probably saying, it looks that the government were not prepared. They didn't have a manifesto. They don't have a direction of where they are going to. Trying to do a test and checks, policies at this time is not working. Do you feel that this government have a way that, because in the broadcast of Mr. President, he will tell you, give me some more time, exercise more patience, things are gonna get better. Do you feel that way?
Sometimes it's just like in the football match. The spectators, they see more than the players. When you are outside, the reality, you will not know until when you get into the system. So it's a different ball game in the system than what you see outside. So sometimes it's not as if they don't have direction, but you see things keeps changing based on
We're not prepared.
I won't say they are not prepared. They are prepared. Everybody, leadership, before you come out and say...
Because Atiku will tell you that you would have done the work better. Peter Abi would have told you that you would have done the work better.
They are all politicians.
You don't feel so that they would have done
They are
better?
all politicians. A politician will always be a politician. They are all politicians. So, but the point is, we need to still give more time to the government. Oh. They just came in how many months? Maybe 16 months. With time, before we begin to assess, at least let's see what happened maybe towards the end of this year or by the time they are 2 years in government. Then we'll now know what is actually happening. We'll know whether they have direction or they don't have any direction.
So you really have confidence on the capacity of the president to deliver?
I really do.
Because he said he did in Lagos. But the way things are now, people will tell you Lagos is not Nigeria. We can't compare Lagos to Nigeria and all of that.
Nigeria is a complex state. So let's see what happens. Let's just give him time. And I believe that in these 2 years, at least in government, we can begin to assess him better.
All right, moving forward, let's get to the local government. You've seen the recent elections that have been conducted to have a local government chairman and councillors at the grassroots. This is in response to the Supreme Court judgment of granting financial autonomy to the local government. We've seen some level of one ruling party, sweeping almost in case of, you've witnessed all the elections, APC taking all the chairmanship and the councillorship, where PDP are in the government, they will take all and all of that. So that we are afraid, if we must have financial autonomy, political autonomy, do you not feel that it is necessary? Because if at the caliber of people that are being elected are through the selection process, not really from the will of the people, because from all the indications it looks that it's just a party or the governor putting some of his foot soldiers to be in this position. How sure can we really confirm that reality of having financial autonomy to the grassroots is assuring and is bringing development, knowing fully well that everyone belongs to a local government, and if we must get development right, it means that we must localize them.
Exactly. I think you see the issue of the state governors, like I did say earlier on, they are politicians, and a politician will want to control his territory, even if it is what constitutes the states is the local government. If you remove the local government, what is left in the states? So definitely there is no how the governors will work without the collaboration and the support from the local governments. So they need the local governments to achieve some of their mandates. And there is need for good working relationship, understanding. So sometimes that is why sometimes they get involved in local government affairs, because they want to know what is happening there, so that they can also collaborate and in partnership complement whatever effort the state government is doing. So I see a way that because they are politicians, they want to interfere. Well, they want to interfere. Who becomes the chairman of so.
And
You are talking of APC. You are talking of PDP governors. What happened in Rivers State? The governor is
a miraculous party.
The governor is PDP. The house is also.
But in the context of democracy, wasn't it fair? where we've seen a government,
and that was why he said he's the most affected by the election.
He has lost. His party has lost in the.
But you can understand what transpired. So that is the situation we find ourselves in this country. I think I want to believe that we should allow politics to be played in a more liberal way. That people should be able to come out, contest. If you win, you win without any interference. But the case in Nigeria is different. It's different.
The elections is challenging because there are those that will even tell you, even if we have to leave the state independent
and
electoral commission.
That is why most people don't go out to vote, because they believe that if they go, the votes will not be counted.
That is even applicable to INEC as well.
Exactly. So that is the situation we find us, except we are all ready to change. Change begins with me, begins with you. We should be ready that yes, we are all ready to change. If not, every facet of Nigeria is affected.
All right, everyone, we'll just go on a very quick break right away. And once we return from the break, we'll try to, as much as possible, to underscore how we can move from where we are. The attention is on the presidency due to the fact that the very strong policies that affected our economy was taken by the government. Well, how can we get Nigeria out of the situation we are today? If the hardship and the cost of living is rising due to the increase and the hike in the fuel price, what should be other remedies? What can we now resort to in getting development and getting Nigerians to smile again? We know that better things cannot just come easy. We'll have to pay a price, but at what cost should Nigerians continue to make these sacrifices and paying the price? We'll look at that shortly after this break. Please stay with us.
An insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines to explore the lasting impact of political decisions. Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on global televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
Many thanks for staying with us. Of course, we've seen reaction from Nigerian Labour Congress knocking on the government in respect to the recent review of the price of fuel. This has continued to be a concern of all the stakeholders. I still have Babatunde, a statement, to continue to have an insight to the current cost of living and how we can go out of these situations. Babatunde, I mean, agriculture is quite very important. We've tried to see how we said insecurity has pushed farmers out of the farms, but that those are having a very strong consideration that, we must pay attention to that. It looks that the government are not having more investment in that sector. Our eyes is in oil. We are having the fact that oil is everything to us now. We can't really have a good sustaining, economy in terms of agriculture. When you look at the fact that even the farmers are having some states that can farm, even if the insecurity are quite very low in that area, they're having low assessment of grants, low assessment of funds. Do you feel that there's a need to pay attention to that sector, which looks that it has been abandoned?
Incidentally, I'm an agricultural person. I'm a director of agriculture, though just retired from FCTA. Not much is done on agriculture. When last have you seen tractors on our roads? Local government don't have tractors. Where are the tractors in states? Even the tractors, where are the tractors? Fertilizers, where are they? It's very expensive now. How many farmers can afford to buy a bag of fertilizer going between 25 to 35,000 per bag? How many bags do they buy? So I think, to me, if there's anything that should be subsidized, I think it should be agriculture. I think it should be agriculture because that was our mainstay before. And there's too much neglect on agriculture now. Nobody, even the local government that is supposed to be their mainstay is agriculture, farming. They have no any policy, they have no any program for agriculture. So I think there is need for, even when we talk of hunger, insecurity, yes, there is insecurity. But I think the government should also do more to support and encourage people to farming. Like I used to say, some people, if I have opportunity, there's nothing bad in declaring, to show the seriousness of government, to declare a day as farming day, that it will be like public holiday, that everybody must have, you just go to farm. So which will encourage people to have farm for themselves. So a day is declared as public holiday. That day is meant for everybody to go to his or her farm to do one or two things. And with that, everybody will be involved in agriculture. And all homes will have, at least, no matter how small the farm is, even if it's vegetable, even if it's whatever you are planting, it's going to add up. So there won't be, the issue of hunger being permitted will not be an issue again. So I think there should be more focus on agriculture. Yes, while tackling the insecurity issue, which I know very soon we'll get over the insecurity, and let there be a serious effort to encourage farming in this country.
We've seen a state like Niger State government,
yes,
seeing what they can do in that area.
Yes.
Because if we continue to say government, what's the action plan? The action plan is that it must come from the state. The state must begin to internalize this and see what they can do. We've seen recently where the federal government have given to National Assembly, I think, some grains and fertilizers and all of that to distribute to their constituents.
Yes.
One of the issues we probably have in this country is the means of how government, shares back things to the grassroots.
Yes.
If they give to the governors, the governor will take it to their party. It will be like a world chairman distribution, where the ruling party will have to start sharing within themselves.
Yes.
And sometimes it doesn't get down to the
main man, the common man.
The common man, yes. And those who probably have a need of these grains and fertilizers. How far can we be able to sustain this? And what other ways can you probably recommend on how government can begin to do this? Because I've read that distribution through the National Assembly in terms of agricultural produce and all of that.
There was a time we had when Akinwumi Adesina was the Minister of Agriculture. He deployed technology to the distribution, to the sales of fertilizers to farmers, and it was very effective. All you need to do, using your GSM, everybody has a GSM, through your phone. You register with your phone, and the approval and the allocations are done through the phones, but not more than 2 bags. So that way, it will be more effective to get to the grassroots and to the people that actually need this input fertilizer. So I think if we still deploy that technology, I think it will be more effective and it will be result-oriented. Okay.
Agriculture is quite very important. We've seen some institutes being established, and it looks that it has been totally been abandoned. Universities and all of that. Young people in Nigeria today do not really feel that's the way to go. It looks that the way it is, people who are looking for a white-collar job and all of those concern. Do you feel that there's more tension or ought to be implemented to encourage, young minds to see how they can begin to tap to that? Because if we are shouting no tomato, no gari, no rice, and all of that, and we are still having a complaint of hunger, it means that we must begin to walk the talk, and actions must quite be implemented.
That is why I said the challenge basically is funding. You have to spend, agriculture, you have to spend money. On the farm, even if it is livestock, it needs money. So if there is lack of fund, there is no how you can produce anything. There is no how you can produce anything. So I think, like I said earlier on, that if there is anything that should be subsidized, rather than people talking about subsidy in petrol, at least it should be on agriculture. Because this is what everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. We must produce food. And it has to be for everybody. So if it's subsidized, then it should be, like we are talking now, how much is a bag of rice? How much is used to produce it? So if it's subsidized, then so much can be done on agriculture, and there won't be any issue of maybe hunger. It will actually solve the problem of hunger.
Does it look like it is not available? Because those are probably having a concern that it seems that we have the little food, but it's not affordable to many people. Is it about the affordability or the availability?
Do you know there are so many things that are competing with food items?
That what?
Food. There are so many things that are competing with, like grains now. Grains. Poultry industries. They are competing with the supply of grains because of poultry feeds, animal feeds. So you cannot say that is enough. In essence, it's not enough. It's not enough. Yes, it's not enough.
We have issues about the transportation. You recall, government has said there will be CNG buses.
Yeah.
When we had, we've also seen move by the government in terms of creating some centers, for some of these CNG conversions and all of that. But we are having that. It has not really been fast coming. When you look at the workers and many Nigerians are having to, have impact on food, and transportation is also on the high side. Recall that this new price of fuel has skyrocketed, prices of transportation up to about over 60% as we speak right now, and all of that. Yeah. So people are losing their jobs. We are having a concern that people are also losing their jobs because
can't go to work.
Because the people cannot go to job and all of that. Yes. How can we make a move on what is your assessment of how government have managed these transportation issues and what can be done immediately?
I think the issue of this CNG buses is a new idea, and I believe it will take some time before we get used to it.
People are losing their jobs, sir.
Yes. I understand. If you imagine how much is from here to town, how much, and how much salary is being paid from Kubwa to someone working in the town, how much? From Buhari to town, you know how much you spend to and fro. If you spend almost 4,000 naira in a month, how much does it amount to? And how much somebody that is being paid 60,000, 50,000? So definitely people are losing job, and I think the government should do more. I see the system as too slow. Even for me as a person, I tried to. There are just about 2 centers in Abuja. Even when you get there, even when you are ready to pay, they tell you the something is not available. I tried myself to convert one of my cars but they tell you that it's not available. And for the buses, how many of the buses are we seeing? I think it should be fast-tracked so that the purpose of bringing the CNG bus will be achieved. If it's delayed, so much will be lost. So much will be lost. So I think the rolling out of the CNG bus should be made to be fast. Whichever companies handling it, they should fast-track the whole process so that we can begin to see the buses. Like you said, people are losing their job. People are withdrawing. People are resigning on their own because the salary itself cannot even pay for the cost of transportation, how much of feeding. So they have to resign. So and it's also gets back to the economy.
It's really saddening because the purchasing powers of Nigerians have been defeated.
Yes.
Many Nigerians can't seem to have good purchasing power right now to purchase some kind of stuff. And it's really disheartening seeing the fact that we want the economy to grow.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look that there's a middle class again in the country's economy. It's either you are at the top or you are at the down, because what we're seeing right now is that those that were middle class have been gradually, pushed backward. What is your concern about this, and how, if it's not well managed, our economy will be in danger? Because if we go to America, Kamala Harris will tell you that our target of our campaign is trying to see how they can empower the middle class,
yes,
because they are the ones that pay the taxes, and see what they can do in order to sustain the economy.
But even in Nigeria presently, the rich are also crying.
Even those at the top.
Yeah, they are also complaining.
like the former governor of
Rivers State. So the rich are also complaining because we all go to the same markets. Generally, things are expensive. Food items, petrol, they also buy fuel. So the issue of whether those at the top, middle class, or those at the bottom, everybody is affected by the fuel, removal of fuel subsidy. So I think, like I did say earlier on, the refineries should be made to work.
Have been back and forth on the date of our refineries.
It's because of corruption. It's corruption. Do you know how much they have been spending? Turnaround maintenance yearly. Even when they are not producing anything, they are still paying them.
They have workers.
They have workers. They are paying. So why are they paying them? So it's a serious problem. But I believe that by the time the refineries are made to be working, the things will take a proper shape.
I want to thank Babatunde Kayode and the other statesman. Thanks so much for joining us on the program tonight. And former director of our FCDA, of Agriculture. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for joining us on the program tonight and giving us insight. Hello, everyone. That's, of course, the size of tonight's show on Big Talk. A concern about how this can go from where we are to the better days. We really hope that things get working, and of course, if the presidency has assured that the situations will be well addressed and managed, and the questions many Nigerians are asking is for how long and at what cost. They just want where things can continue to be addressed as it is right now. NNPC must understand that from all indications, the recent hike has affected the economy, has affected the livelihood of many Nigerians, and they must pay attention in fixing our refineries and also having the independent marketers have the ability to also purchase from the Dangote refinery so as to be able to have a competitive market space to crush down the recent fuel price. That's the size of our show. My name is Dikat Michael. See you again.